Okay.
Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, listen, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me, if you haven't found your seats, could you? Good morning. Let me introduce myself. I'm the only non-elected official you'll hear from this morning. Anyway, my name is Kim Elliman. I'm the president and CEO of the Open Space Institute, and I'm extraordinarily proud to be here on this lovely morning that's a beautiful park. It's a park day. Today, the state of New Jersey, under the leadership of Governor Murphy, is sealing the deal on its single largest conservation investment ever. And OSI cannot be more excited to be part of it. Part of a project that is of national significance in its scope, in its complexity, and most importantly, for the range of benefits it will bring to the people of northern New Jersey. With this project, the governor is setting a national precedent on improving the quality of life for urban and suburban residents. Together, as many of you know, Hudson and Essex counties have budgets and populations that exceed several states and the District of Columbia. Securing this land for creation of a 9-mile greenway here in this most densely populated and diverse region of the nation is no small feat. In fact, now that it's behind us, some honesty from an organization that has been doing land deals up and down the East Coast for nearly 50 years, I can report that this acquisition was a beast of a transaction. The biggest and most complicated, for certain, in our history and in land conservation. But happily, a project that will also have the great payoff for the communities it will serve. Indeed, when all is said and all is built, I have no doubt that the northern New Jersey Greenway will be on par with, if not more significant, than other examples of rail trails. The New York City High Line, the Atlanta Beltline, and the Chicago 606. And because of its size and scope, this effort required a tremendous partnership, cooperation, and most importantly, the commitment and leadership by the governor and his team to get this milestone acquisition done. To that end, I want to commend the expansive and tireless crew of DEP and New Jersey transit professionals who worked hand in hand with OSI, proving how well government can work with private partnerships to get things done. So thank you. The linear park we celebrate today underscores the merits of public-private partnerships and strategic land protection in one package. This project will completely transform the way communities connect with nature and connect with each other, linking people to parks, to waterways, and to their neighbors. OSI could not be prouder of the role we played in negotiating this deal with Norfolk Southern, securing the rights to purchase the former railroad property, and providing technical assistance to complete the transaction. I also want to thank and recognize our coalition partners, the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition and the September 11th National Memorial Trail Alliance, who helped marshal support from the beginning from communities along the line and worked with stakeholders and local elected officials. I'm also grateful and want to recognize the philanthropic community who, with us, saw the unparalleled potentials of the Greenway and provided nearly $4 million in private support for this initiative. Special thanks to the Thomas L. Kempner Jr. Foundation, the Helen and William Mazur Foundation, and the Partners for Health Foundation. And to my colleagues at the OSI staff who worked tirelessly to bring the Greenway to life, led by Deanie Lee, who oversaw the project for OSI, Laura Jean Moody, who's here, Bob Anderberg, Eileen Larrabee, Kip Eisen. We all thank you. Indeed, involved with this remarkable effort, including many friends and partners joining us today, will enthusiastically claim the Greenway as a legacy project, and they will be right. We have serious work to do now, and OSI eagerly looks forward to ensuring this project fulfills its vision as a transformative world-class Greenway. And I will end as I started, by thanking Governor Murphy and his team for making this historic, once-in-a-generation opportunity a reality. And with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Governor Phil Murphy.
Thank you. Kim, thank you for your gracious words in my direction and in the direction of so many, and thank you for kicking us off. And to you and the entire team at the Open Space Institute, thank you as well for your dogged work on this and so many other projects, and you're ensuring, as much as any organization, a healthy and sustainable future. I'm joined today by a cavalcade of leaders, elected, nonprofits, advocates, and I want to acknowledge some of them. Senate Majority Leader Teresa Ruiz, who we will hear from. Assembly members Ileana Pintor-Marin, all the way in from Hudson County. We had to stamp his passport. Raj Mukherjee. Tom Giblin has joined us. The guy to my left, we wouldn't be here without him. Essex County Executive Joe DiVincenzo. Joe, as always. We have Sheriff Armando Fontoura, looking very cool in his shades. Sheriff. A bevy of commissioners, President Wayne Richardson, Pat Siebold, who's responsible for weather, Lenny Luciano, and importantly, Brendan Gill, who we're going to hear from. And this has been a passion of his for a dozen years or more. I know, I know, Jackie, is that you? Good morning, Jackie Jones. How are you? Nice to see you last night and again today. We also have at least Aníbal Ramos and Luis Quintana from the Newark City Council, guys. Honored to have you. We have Phil Elijah, Chief of Staff. We have the one and only Fountain of Youth. Bill Payne is with us. CEO of NJ Transit, a nice quiet week on the rail front in America. Kevin Corbett. A lot of, as I mentioned, advocates, nonprofits. We're going to hear from Ed Potasnik from the League of Conservation Voters. And again, Kim, thank you for kicking us off. This is a big day. And you will recall, because many of you were with me 10 months ago, many of us came together to announce our vision for turning a 9-mile stretch of abandoned Norfolk Southern Railway track bed stretching from Montclair, the People's Republic, to Jersey City, into a new state park called the Greenway. In November 2021, that's 10 months ago, as I mentioned, we had the partners and we had the plan. What we did not have was the title to the land. But today I am proud to say that we have, at long last, the trifecta. It is my honor to announce that we have closed on the purchase of this property. This land now belongs, that's worth a shout out. This land now belongs to the people of New Jersey, and together we're going to make it a place for all of our residents to enjoy. This effort, and again, Kim touched upon a lot of the folks who are responsible here. It was led on our side by DEP's Deputy Commissioner Sean Moriarty, who did great work. Amen, Sean. Well done, buddy. And the Director of the Office of Transactions and Public Lands Administration, Rob Guzek, among many others, Rob, on the DEP team. So just think of the possibilities that lay along these 9 miles of track, stretching from Montclair to Jersey City and efficiently connecting Glen Ridge, Bloomfield, Belleville, Newark, Kearney, and Secaucus. Mike Ganelli was going to join us. Is Mike here? Mayor of Secaucus was going to come. I don't think he's here, Raj, is he? I don't think so. I didn't see him. In any event, in absentia to your colleagues in Hudson County as well, Raj. And it will connect the many neighborhoods and communities within each of those municipalities as well along the way. 9 miles of new green space through some of our state's most densely populated areas. 9 miles for healthy recreation, for cycling, for running, and for walking, and notably for many residents who otherwise don't have ready access to open space for these activities. 9 miles that will attract people from up and down the state, from across our region, unlocking new opportunities for local economic growth. 9 miles for potential commuting, getting folks off congested highways and out of greenhouse gas emitting cars and onto 2 wheels, or maybe no wheels for their trips to and from work. and through NJ Transit, 9 miles to provide multiple access points for light rail and buses. 9 miles of new environmental infrastructure that can help collect and recharge stormwater runoff and alleviate localized flooding, lined by trees and plants that will improve air quality as they improve local scenery. So much potential in these 9 miles. And as I've said before, this will be a gem of our state park system. When it is completed, the Greenway will rival, and by the way, in length, Kim, if I'm not mistaken, will dwarf Manhattan's High Line. And by the way, it won't be, this is not going to happen tomorrow, by the way. This is going to, just want to get everyone's expectations managed here. This is going to take many, many years, and it will be opened one section at a time. And I hope that first section will be sooner than later. You all know this better than I. For 20 years, this track bed has been off limits to the public. But the hard part, shining up this diamond in the rough, so to speak, starts now. And we're getting started right away. This year's budget, and I want to thank the legislative leaders and members who are with us today, includes $20 million for Greenway planning, development, and remediation work. And on Friday, I think, Sean, am I right? DEP will be issuing an RFQ to retain the most qualified and innovative professionals to assist us in realizing this dream. We will continue to work closely, and Joe knows this, with our county, municipal, nonprofit, philanthropic, and community partners to both inform and guide the creation of a phased development plan that gets people out on this property while furthering our shared long-term vision. I must also give thanks, and Kim mentioned many of these organizations, so I will just add to that, to so many others who worked together across many, many years in the hopes of getting us to this announcement, including not just the Open Space Institute, but in our government, the Department of Transportation, NJ Transit itself, the League of Conservation Voters. Again, we'll hear from Ed in a few moments. NJ Bike and Walk Coalition. Brendan, that's the organization that you introduced me to and was the first really sit down and deep conversation I had about this. Yeah. And the 9/11 National Memorial Trail, among many, many more, many organizations, which, by the way, are represented here today. And of course, I have to give my thanks because it takes two sides to do a trade and make an acquisition. I got to thank Norfolk Southern Railway for their willingness to give up this land so it can be, it's not like they gave it to us, but you still need two sides to make a deal so it can be turned into something great for all to enjoy. This exemplifies everything that all of us here work every day to do, to make lasting change that will benefit our state and its residents long, long after we are gone. I had a friend who actually since has passed away, who started a consulting firm called Copper Beach Strategies. And I asked him why Copper Beach. And for you folks who know this stuff better than I do, a copper beech is a tree that does not come into fruition by definition for 100 years. So it's long after you're gone. And I hope this won't be long after we're gone. But we are planting a major seed today for something that will come into full bloom many years from now. But importantly, for generation after generation after generation of those who follow us, they will benefit from this extraordinary step. I'm incredibly humbled to be a part of this. Again, it takes a village. You can't put $20 million up just because you think it's a good idea without the legislators coming to you and working with you. Please help me welcome the Senate Majority Leader, Essex County's own Senator Teresa Ruiz.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, everyone. So I'm glad the governor thanked Norfolk Southern. Brendan and I chuckled because I won't share with you what I said to them in a meeting. The reporters would have to bleep every other word. Before I get to my thank yous, I do want to highlight, and I don't think Mayor Venezia is here, so I'm safe with saying this. If you recall, when we had the first announcement, which was amazing, it was a downpour in Bloomfield. This is what happens when you come to Newark, Governor. It's just the sun is out and we are ready. Selfishly, I have to tell you that I am just so lovingly overwhelmed inside. If you look right behind me, or when you drove in, there's a beautiful, huge tree, and that's This is my park. This is my family's park. And for so many Puerto Ricans who called the North Ward their home, this was our place where we vacationed. And the county executive will share those same stories. I have pictures where I'm sweating and I have my communion outfit on, birthday parties. We would gather here every weekend and have a pickup game in the middle before Joe repopulated this whole area with beautiful cherry blossom trees. But this is the same place where I try to run 2 miles every morning in a phenomenal track that the county executive put in, where my daughter, scoots on her scooter and rides her bike, and she calls it her park as well. Today, we see what government should and can be. This is the answer of bringing to light innovation and protection for the people who live in the city of Newark. These rails have posed a threat to us environmentally. And I want to take a moment to thank Debbie Mans, who I know is not a DEP anymore, and the entire DEP staff, because we called her every single day in the entire team, because people were using our very own backyard as a dumping ground. And Councilman Quintana and Councilman Ramos stood on the ashes that they would come, or after they would pick up suburban roads and then come and cover the rail tracks here in front of a newly built state school, in front of the first county historic park system in the state, behind the homes of individuals who had children playing in their backyards. This is what government can and should do. It saw innovation, it created partnership, it took an opportunity, and today is the culmination of that. And I am just so overwhelmed and proud to be part of a team on so many levels, as a community member, as a legislative partner to this administration, as a partner to the governor, as a partner to DEP, who I will tell you, the commissioner I know is not here and Sean is here, but they are thinking so, he'll text me randomly, so creatively and innovatively on how to draw down funds to be sure that when this park is brought to the gem that it should be, it is going to be an extraordinary place where our children can learn the importance of environmental protection and environmental justice. I joked with Assemblyman Mukherjee, I said, I hope we do see this in our lifetime, because I want cameras to start in Jersey City and in Newark, and the two of us will get on a bike and they can follow us when we meet each other. And then I whispered to him, I'll be sure that I buy an electric bike so I'm not pedaling that hard. But again, to the governor, to the entire administration, to our county executive, to Commissioner Brendan Gill, to all of the partners here, whether you saw this as an opportunity to connect via bike, to have moments of just quality of life with your family, to New Jersey Transit, who always stood by the vision that I had to see a light rail connecting parts of Essex County into Jersey City. I hope that I see this in my lifetime. I am invested, I am committed, I am a homeowner. This is my backyard, but most importantly, this will be the state's greatest backyard and open space. Congratulations to everyone.
Amen to all. Thank you, Senator. And it will be, I don't want to go out on a limb on the timing, but I think we're going to get a first phase of this, a taste of this in the next few years. And the first phase, by the way, of this is, it could be as long as the New York City's High Line. So this is a 9-mile slug. What's the High Line? 2 miles, Kim?
Yeah, I think they just added an extension, so 2.5.
2.5. So I'm not sure we can open up 2.5 at once, but we'll give it our best shot. Thank you, Senator. He's come all the way from Hudson County, and the majority leader just mentioned his name, but this is an important point. This connects a whole bunch of communities across 2 counties. And I mentioned among the most densely populated, I think this is the most densely populated section in America. So it's not just any densely populated section. I know Hudson County is the most densely populated county in America. Please help me welcome, representing the county, Assemblyman, great leader, Raj Mukherjee.
I don't know what I did to your family to have to follow Teresa Ruiz, but it's always a privilege to be with our majority leader and my budget chair from this county, Assemblyman Pintor Marin. Early in the governor's first term, he was gracious enough to say, what do you need? What do you want in Hudson County? And naturally, I said, more methods, more ways to go visit Joe D. and Phil Elijah. Here's a man, never made a promise he didn't keep. It's actually, this represents a revolutionary and transformational investment in green space, in transit infrastructure that's going to help move North Jersey toward a brighter future. Repurposing an abandoned rail line into open space, a state park, and a multimodal transit corridor for walking, for hiking, for biking, for e-biking, for enjoyment of open space is good for the environment. And shout out to Commissioner LaTourette and DEP for their role in this and preserving and being good stewards of all of our state parks. Be good for mass transit, and it represents an area where the governor has really stood by his commitment to help us with public transit infrastructure, especially important for urban areas like the state's two biggest cities, which will be connected through the Essex-Hudson Greenway. Be good for public safety and mitigating the risks of crime around abandoned rail yards and lines and areas that aren't maintained. Be good for the small businesses in these densely populated communities in our regional economy. Brendan and I have a healthy rivalry about whether the Montclair food scene or the Jersey City Hoboken food scene is better. And now we'll be able to bike back and forth to continue to healthily compete on that. And it'll be good for our constituents' physical and mental well-being. If you just think back to the early stages of the pandemic, with Governor Murphy and Judy Persicelli's regular press conferences, and where you would check your mail and FedEx packages with like a hazmat suit and spray it all down before taking it upstairs and all that kind of stuff. Just we didn't even know what we don't know about the novel coronavirus, and how for many the only sanctuary and relief was open space and parks and in urban communities. We don't have that many of them. Transportation emissions constitute nearly 30% of total greenhouse emissions in the United States, by far the largest single source. And we pay for the impacts of those emissions with our quality of life and with our well-being. And shout out to Kevin Corbett and New Jersey Transit for being forward-thinking. And so projects like this are the first step toward liberating our communities, such as the ones that we represent, from having to pay that price. So I really loved the Copper Beach story, and I look forward to enjoying this during our lifetimes, but also to the fact that our children and their children will be able to relish what we're doing here today. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Raj. So well said, as always, and thank you for schlepping over today, and thanks for your leadership. I wish the state of New Jersey could run like Essex County. We're getting there, one step in front of the other, but it continues to be the model of how you run a government, and it's led by one guy that we all know. Please help me welcome the County Executive, Joe D. Vincenzo.
You know, today is such a great day, just not for Newark, just not for Essex County. It's 22 towns. Raj, also Hudson County, but the state of New Jersey. Once this is done, once this is completed, to have 9 miles of open space from one county to another county, which will be utilized by the entire state, Governor. So it's just not for Essex, it's just not for, it's for everyone to come to do what they want to do as far as ride bikes or just walk alone. You know, now I don't have to go on weekends to Hudson County along the waterway to ride my bike or to walk, or go on the west side of New York to ride my bike. You could do it right here in Essex. Gov, you've done a lot of great things in your term. You still got more to go, but there's no question this will be your legacy. Because anytime you could do something like this, preserve 9 acres. this is something that we remember for a lifetime. Even if we're not here, this will be utilized by people throughout. To Brendan Gill, and I want to thank him for his passion, for making this happen. I'm very appreciative, and there's to you and to the entire team. I'm not going to mention everyone, everything that you have done. You know, when it's 12 years been going on, it seems like it's been 20 years going on. But guess what? It finally happened. And Governor, just thank you on behalf of the people of Essex County. Now, when you start this project, let's make sure you start on the Essex County side first. Please. The other thing is, if you see right behind me, it's the Cherry Blossom Center building. We're building a brand new building there because the cherry blossoms are known throughout the world, and it's going to be a nice community building for everyone to be able to utilize. And that's only happening because of you, Governor, the support that you've given us to there. Week Wake there, the community building we built there, that's completed. It's only because of you. All right? Glenfield Park, which we started, which will be done at the end of the year, only because of you. Irvington Park, same thing. All right? And Independence Park. Everything that we've done in the last 6 years apart, you have been a partner and a supportive. And we can't thank you enough on behalf of Essex County residents. Keep up the good work.
Boy, this is a refreshing event because I normally hear from people, they say a few other things, and that's because of you. And they don't necessarily use all 5 of their fingers. Joe,
I hear the same.
you hear the same. I'm humbled by your words of thanks.
It's the truth.
I appreciate that so much. But listen, in this county, you set the bar for all of us, whether it's parks or any other schools, services. The building that's going up there is yet another example. So, Joe, thank you for everything. You've also got a pretty unique cocktail in Essex County because you've got a great legislative team. You've got great mayors and councils. And you, Joe, get to work alongside a great board of county commissioners. Wayne is the president. I mentioned that Pat and Lenny are here as well. The guy who's really, his passion has animated this project, in his case for 12 years. In my case, he and I met about 8 years ago. I was introduced to the Bike and Walk Coalition, whose members are here today. And it became, for me, a passion. Sort of, I was living vicariously through Brendan before I was governor. And since I've been governor, I've been doing everything I can to get us to this day. And we wouldn't be here without him. Please help me welcome a dear friend, Commissioner Brendan Gill.
Governor, thank you so much. Good morning. It is so great to be here with all of you today. Originally, Governor, they told me actually I was going to be the last person on the program, which I know you have a very busy schedule, so I immediately knew I have to keep this very short to wrap up this press conference. But you know, I wanted to just thank both you and our county executive before we get to the matter at hand. I take the opportunity every time I can. I know we are coming out of this pandemic, and we are well on our way to coming out of this pandemic. But the decisions that both Governor Murphy made and our county executive made in conjunction with their teams saved thousands upon thousands of lives. Thousands upon thousands of lives. And I think we ought to recognize and give them a round of applause for their leadership. Through that process. And if you don't get to hear it enough, each of you, thank you. Thank you for that. Because I'm sure you hear a lot of other stuff, as you mentioned, Governor, including I saw the other night a person who called your call-in show to tell him that he hadn't had a call returned, and you complimented him for how nice he was on delivering that message to you. You actually said, I'd be a lot angrier than you if I didn't get my call returned. But to our Governor, to Joe D., and to your team, To our representatives from the state legislature who are here, both very dear friends, I thank you so much for everything that you've done to advance this project. To my colleagues on the Commissioner Board who've continued to support me every step of the way, I want to make sure that they're recognized. Again, our President, Wayne Richardson. Yes, we can give Wayne another round of applause. Absolutely. I had the honor to serve for 3 years as president. My 3 years as president, we dealt with some pretty serious issues. We had some pretty challenges at our correctional facility. We had COVID. So when my term was up, I was very happy to pass the baton to my colleague and friend Wayne Richardson. But Wayne has embraced this project each and every step of the way. And thank you for that, Wayne, to your leadership. To, I know, our vice chair, Carlos Pomares, who's not here, but I see representatives from the local Bloomfield governing body. To a longtime champion of open space, Pat Siebold. Pat, I appreciate that, but Pat has been a long-time serving member of our board, and we're lucky to have your leadership on these issues. And Len Luciano, our colleague, who never misses a photo op. But Len, thank you, thank you for being here and for all of your friendship. And this would not be possible without your help. You mentioned it, Governor. Also, I just want to also give a thank you again to the New Jersey Bike and Walk Board. Their executive director, Deborah Kagan, is here. Deborah, let's give Deborah a round of applause. Deborah led the grassroots effort that kept this going for many, many years. Her predecessor, who I don't think is here, Cindy Steiner, who was a longtime champion of this project, for those who know Cindy. And the board members, I was recently elected in 2011 to serve on the Essex County Board of Commissioners and met some representatives of the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition. One of those members is the chair of that board, who is here today, Brian Stolar. Brian asked me to then serve on this board. It took me about almost 2 years and many, many meetings before I built up the courage to tell the board that I didn't own a bike, that I had never really been cycling, but the kind of the bridge to this was the connection and the public health aspect, and the vision on this project was, I think, pretty easy to see early on. So I appreciate everyone who has thanked me today, but that board and its members and the ones who are here today, some of who you'll hear from a little bit later, are the ones that champion this project each and every day. So I want to give another round of applause both to Brian, all the board members of Bike and Walk for everything that they have done. Yes, absolutely. To OSI and everything they've done to have a partner like OSI, the Open Space Institute, become a part of this project. That helped us take it to the next level. That helped us have the professionals that we needed to understand a very complicated land deal, to work with our partners in government to get it done. So OSI, thank you so much. To the two Seans at DEP, our commissioner, I know, who was not able to be here, but Sean Moriarty, who is. Thank you so much, Sean, for each and everything that you've done. Kevin, thank you for everything at New Jersey Transit. And if I missed anyone, I deeply apologize. Every single person here I could thank for what you've done to make this project a reality. And you know, the slogan says connecting communities to open space. But I'm actually going to say I think we actually got that a little bit wrong, in my opinion. What this project is doing is connecting communities. Connecting communities. New Jersey is the most segregated, one of the most segregated states. That is a reality in the country. That is a reality that we need to deal with each and every day. And this type of project is what brings communities that might not otherwise, even though they might be neighbors, that might not otherwise come together. So a young person, whether they're in the city of Newark, Secaucus, Kearney, Jersey City, or Montclair, can travel to another community, be exposed to a world that may be different than theirs, may meet someone who's different from them, and understand that they're part of something bigger and larger than just the single individual community that they live in. That's what this project is about. So, Governor, thank you again. It's been my honor and my pleasure to work with you in various capacities. I know that I couldn't be prouder to be here with you today. Love you. Joe, thank you. Thank each and every one of you, and let's get this done. Thanks so much.
I just said to Brendan, that last point is a home run point. It is this, but it is more. And just think about that. Think of 10 years from now, young kids in one of these communities just wandering safely in an environmentally friendly way, with confidence from one community to another on a bike or walking. It's just going to be transformative. I'm not sure whose this is. Is this you, Brendan? Sorry. Yeah. I used to say this, and you told me to cut it out on the campaign trail 5 years ago, but I'll say this for those of you who remember. Sorry, it's Rudy Giuliani's wife calling. At the time, that was a good laugh line. Apparently, I should dust it off and start to use it again. Brian, I remember that first meeting we had in Red Bank all those years ago. I think it was 2014, and we've come a long way, baby, as they say. Last but not least, I mentioned him earlier. He's the executive director, and this is another extraordinary organization. We could probably have 10 organizations speak, but it's an honor to introduce a very dear friend, representing the New Jersey League of Conservation Voters. It's executive director, Ed Potosnik. Ed?
It's really great to be here. Ed Potosnik, I'm Executive Director of New Jersey LCV and also Chair of the Keep It Green Coalition. And it's days like today that I live for. We're launching a new park, and the best part about it, it's an urban park. And that means folks that have historically been left out of recreational opportunities, disconnected from communities, as the commissioner said, will have new opportunities. And a lot of folks have been thanked, but I want to take us back to 2014 and thank a really important group of people. That doesn't mean they're more important or anything, and it's the voters of New Jersey. Because in 2014, they supported a constitutional amendment to dedicate a sustainable, reliable funding source for open space preservation through the Green Acres program and Blue Acres. And if I understand correctly, this is the largest investment from the Green Acres program in the history of New Jersey. And it wouldn't be available without 65% of voters saying yes to question 2 in 2014. So it's a historic investment, and we're really pleased because many studies have shown that physical and mental health benefits come from being outside. We see economic gains, investments in community. We see crime reductions in neighborhoods with parks. The Greenway will provide 1 million people with access to green space. It'll help soothe the impacts of climate crisis, which Assemblyman Mukherjee mentioned. And it is going to provide us with opportunities to deal with stormwater, because with more frequent intense storms, we're seeing more flooding. So we need to do things with that too. And the park is going to be a resilient place to protect us as well as connect us. It's going to be an environmental and an economic boon for our residents. And so I just want to applaud the governor. I want to applaud all the elected officials that are with us, the county executive, the majority leader, our commissioner, folks from each community, assemblyman. It takes a village, and to get the government to work together on so many different levels, you're talking about towns, counties, the state. There's federal funds that are working together on this, and then the nonprofit sector and corporation. That's a public-private partnership, and it can only happen if people are like weeble wobbles. Maybe I'm too old, or I don't know. But you get knocked down and you get back up again. There's sort of a song about that, and there were a lot of those moments that people fought through, but particularly at the DEP. The leadership and the staff, Sean, Rob, Julia, Martha, Fawn, and Lauren. Let's give them a round of applause. And just one thing I want to highlight is, as the project goes forward, let's make sure that the voices in the communities that are going to benefit from the project are part of the planning so that we can ensure it has the kind of necessities and amenities that they'll benefit from the most. We want to hear from the people this generation and the next generation that are going to be beneficiaries of the park. So with that, I just want to say this is a wonderful day. It came from a long line of advocacy and folks not giving up. And the leadership that was shown each step of the way is really what makes New Jersey such a great state, and I think the greatest state. And our High Line, which is going to be the Greenway, will rival, and I think best, New York City's. And it'll be just a great place for everyone to visit. So good luck, and thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And the point you made is we are committed to. I know Sean and the team would join me and Sean LaTourette. This will not be imposed on communities. That will not happen. This is going to be a collaborative process where it's going to work for each community, and we are committed to that. As they say in Hollywood, it's a wrap. So I want to thank Kim for kicking us off, Senator, Assemblyman, County Executive, Commissioner, Ed, and to the star-studded group we have with us today, elected officials, nonprofit leaders, advocates, folks who are just here because they care. This is a big, big day. It's rare, I think, that you have a day where you're doing something that you know will bear its most important fruit after we've all hung up our cleats. But this is one of them, and that's what it should be about. And again, I'm always humbled. Joe in particular, thank you for hosting us so graciously. God bless you, everybody. Have a great one.